Taking a look at our forecast now. Right now in Bakersfield, we're seeing 91 degrees. And as you head down into the mountains, we're seeing more of those 70s. It's starting to cool off just a bit. And in Eastern Kern, we're seeing some of the 80s, but also a lot of the 90s and still a little bit of 100 degrees in some of these desert areas as well. Now tonight, we're expecting temperatures to dip between the 50s into the 60s. Really throughout the county, we're seeing a little bit close to the 70s in some areas as well. Now tomorrow, we can see as high as 104 degrees and as low as 85 degrees in the mountains, but in the valley we're expecting 94 degrees and pretty much the same in the Kern River Valley as well. Air quality is moderate. Now we do see actually a little bit more humidity than we have been seeing lately. It's not as dry out. It's still quite dry out, but not as much as we have been seeing over the past so many weeks. However, it is of course a little more dry in the desert. Now you might think that this means we're at less of a risk for grass fires. However, especially in these desert areas, we do have some gusts picking up overnight tonight, but also as we head into tomorrow afternoon and heading into tomorrow night, it's looking a little more patchy. Now these aren't necessarily strong winds, but they are decent gusts. We're looking between 20 to 30, even the mid 30 mile per hour range. Otherwise, it's relatively breezy. However, this does mean that we could still see grass fires starting and spreading during this time. As for pressure, we're seeing some high pressure as well as some low pressure. We're wedged in between both of those, meaning we're seeing some warmer temperature, but it's a little bit cooler, a lot of the 90s. Now, as we head into next week, we do see things are starting to pick up a little bit more. Temperature is going to increase just a little bit as that low pressure is starting to head up north. We're going to get a look at those numbers, but first tomorrow in the valley, we have a high of 94 degrees and low of 66 degrees. Air quality is moderate and we're looking at clear and sunny skies throughout the day. And we're expecting to see the 90s for most of the week. However, as we head into later next week, even next weekend, we do see some cooler weather headed our way below seasonal average. We're looking at those 80s actually. And in the mountain areas, Fraser Park and Tehachapi, we're starting off in those 80s, dipping into those 70s by around Thursday or Friday. And Lake Isabella, pretty similar to Bakersfield, 90s headed into those 80s later on.